Hello, YouTube BitChute friends. Some thoughts today, brief thoughts, not much. I've been kind of preoccupied with some things. I haven't posted much, but I just had some thoughts on phase two of the shit show. The phase two of the shit show. We've gone through the first version of the worst, or the worst version. It's the worst version of any kind of psyop ever perpetrated, beyond even what you might consider to be the ultimate sacrifices people pay in wars. The sacrifices during the 3 year shit show have been phenomenal. I think psychologically, emotionally, physically, there has been such a tremendous shift in basically towards compliance. Now, this is for me a phase two in the sense that I was thinking that all the mantras that have been produced around whatever catastrophes they conjure up, like this beer virus or the climate, and when they have their little mantras of, let's say, what did he say? No crisis shall go to waste. So we see ourselves in fabricated crises where people actually do suffer. It's not that people don't suffer during these fabricated crises, but they're not rooted in a reality that we understand to be a crisis. That's what I think. Now, here's phase two. I've been noodling on this, and phase two will be a response to people becoming aware of how they've been manipulated through this crisis phenomenon, and they're going to counter it with an operation that is on our side. So I think it's kind of like Matt from Quantum of Conscience dissecting how reality is such a bunch of hooey the way it's presented, and it's obviously functioning on a very complex level where we don't have all the facts before us if we're analyzing the way. All right, so like my comment about Matt, Quantum of Conscience guy, is not so much concerned with the way I'm looking at this in terms of facts, although he does analyze, but he's now, I think, emerged out of his shell into a more esoteric, mystical kind of dissertation, although he appears to be very rooted in a sense of self. Look within yourself, he says. So Matt sort of would apply here to a certain extent, but he's not interested in analyzing anything, because he says whenever you analyze, there's always the other side. Whatever, well, actually, it does apply to what I'm about to say. Whenever there is whenever we're presented with one side, then there is always another side is proposed. That's actually, yeah, no, that makes sense in terms of what I'm about to say regarding the shit shows that have been unleashed on us. Forever. It's like thousands of years of shit shows. But the last one was really phenomenal. The entire earth complied with the owners to do a certain thing. So now we have emerging people who are the figurehead and the spearhead of the opposition to the shit show bunch that appear to be on our side. Someone who is prominent in this is Jordan Peterson. He gives me the creeps. He's got this sort of furrowed brow all the time. It's like he's always like, intense. He's intense. Yes, people say, oh, he's intense. And people I know regard him as, what a thinker. Well, he may be a thinker, but he's also someone in a continuous state of rage, totally unresolved. He has no idea, really. He's just like furled in a rage, like his brow is like intense. It's a rage. The guy is a screw up, a complete uh, don't investigate, look within yourself kind of person. He's always, everything is out there, right? This is, gave me the EBGBs even before I became aware of the fact that he has this unresolved rage continuing all the time, like 24/7. So anyway, he is being presented as the poster child of the alternative to the shit show makers. And this, of course, fits in with the idea, as Matt has mentioned, that whenever reality presents us with whatever it might be, as I say, I like to call them the shit shows, it could also provide us with an equally adversarial position that feels hopeful to us. Like Peterson, to a lot of people, he's incredibly successful. He has established himself as a very hopeful personality. Oh, I'm not interested in politics. I'm not interested in anything. I'm going to create a new group of enlightenment called ARC. All right, so his ARC group, it has to do with a bunch of billionaires getting together and replacing the obvious usual suspects, like the Weffers, and the alien from the planet of Ubel Knievel called Klaus Schwab. He dresses up like an Ubel Knievel alien who has given us, with his Harari guy that says we can all be microchipped and programmed perfectly. I mean, that is so obviously insane. Those mantras are, I mean, who is going to subscribe to any of those kind of mantras, right? It's a setup. It's a setup for the shit show. Now, people did accept the first time round shit show, the beer virus. And the second time around, it's going to be a lot more subtle people, like with, for example, with this Peterson character, who has established himself as a credible personality that has endeared himself to mostly the intellectual types. They like to noodle on their mental diarrhea as much as possible and come up with new versions of themselves. It comes in one end, it comes out the other end, it stinks. I mean, all that mental diarrhea always stinks. I don't care. Give me a person with honesty and a conscience, and I will have a fabulous conversation. I don't need the dictionaries that line up all the words to make me impressed about someone. Or the great educations from institutions of ill repute like Harvard or Yale or MIT, something that Peterson refers to as his credible sources, as his credible alma mater, as the people that have influenced him to be brilliant. These outfits have all been shown, I mean, in previous shit shows, to be very untoward. So my point today is that we are now entering phase 2, I think, of the next shit show, which is going to be a lot more difficult for many people to understand. If you listen to Matt with his quantum of conscience analysis that do not accept anything that is presented to us as real, just carte blanche real. We can probably draw on snippets that is presented that can function for us, that we have to verify this. We have to verify within ourselves the things that make sense. And when we make a mistake, we have to change. And to double down and dogmatize on the nature of our existence is one of the biggest mistakes, either through science, religion, politics, social orders. Anything that will entrench or dogmatize systems around us is extremely suspect, especially when they rely on the intellectual fortitude of a degenerate like Peterson, who's going to save the earth because the Weffers they're so obviously, left-wing woke bunch that are going to destroy us all. And Peterson set himself up to defend those victims. Victims, yes. This teacher, and I think it was a Laurier that was fired for not going he, she, it, whatever it is, woke crap. And he set himself up because a lot of people said, hey, including myself, Peterson has has actually taken a position that makes a lot of sense. Not to be told what to say. Um, he did this sort of like compelled speech thing, which would make sense. But it's all garbage now because he has escalated this to the next level of psyop. And I have this funny this sort of theory that he supposedly got really sick because all he could eat was meat. I mean, that's insane. The human body is not meant to eat just meat. But he had an illness that he can only eat meat. Okay. So he kind of was on drugs, and supposedly he was an addict. And during his addiction, he was giving people lectures and helping them through his inner turmoil was not released onto the world. He was helping all these innocent souls how to clean their rooms and understand themselves better. And he was presenting this to society, and society embraced him into their bosom and made him famous. And oh, geez, he went away all of a sudden. He got really sick from his supposed, I don't buy it, from his drug addictions, and he had to go to Russia. And he emerged out of Russia a reborn guy. He emerged in flying colors. He's not only a reborn guy, he is in very particular tight-knit suits. He's like the poster child of suitness, of a stiff suit. He comes out of there, and I can't help but think this is the last person I would listen to when somebody steps in front of me with these extremely tailored outfits. The noose as in the tie, which is the representative of this kind of very dogmatized system. He has completely capitulated. This is a tell people when they present themselves, like Peterson presents himself with this really tight, totally dry cleaned antiseptic presence. It's like, and he's wearing this sort of oligarchic leather on the shoulder tweed jacket and jeans because he's one of us. But then this thing with the leather on here is like, let's go on the fox hunt. Let's do the fox hunt. I want to be a lord and kill little furry animals. And if they have feathers, I'll do it as well. Peterson. This is him with his outfits. So he comes back all healed up in an incredibly energized, furrow even deeper disposition. And the first thing I'm thinking is, there was a film with Frank Sinatra called The Manchurian Candidate. I think they turned him into an operative, like a Jason Bourne operative, to not to pummel people with his karate chops, but with his depraved and degenerate philosophies. And now initiatives that he calls ARC. I don't even know what it means. Listen to Amazing Polly. She did a dissection of his ARC thing. Brilliant. I love the way Amazing Polly dissects and researches people and exposes, reveals their nature and who they hang out with. And ultimately, some are so hidden, I don't know how she finds it. She's truly amazing. So listen, maybe I'll attach her video on the Peterson thing because it kind of pushed me into making this video about the phase 2 of the shit show. Here's how it's going to unfold. That all the people that you believe to be on your side are going to succeed, right? Reality has, as Matt has always said, we have never had any success on any level in terms of people gaining anything in reality. It's always isolated to the owners and small groups. We don't get any cures in the medical system. In fact, the medical system is more inclined, unless in traumatic circumstances, to poison us with these expensive drugs and bankrupt us in the process. So there haven't been any successes for us. And in the same sense, this is now a more subtle, subversive, if you can imagine that. I mean, you know, I recognized the shit show within a week when everybody went along with it on the entire Earth, everybody did the same thing. That's a sign. That's a sure sign, people. When everyone agrees, I can't even agree on sort of basic on what socks to wear. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's very difficult to take to take anything seriously that everybody does in the same way. Basically, 95% of the Earth was doing the same thing. So this guy, Peterson, I've had the EBGBs about this prick all the way, all the time. He has presented himself squeaky clean. We know he's not. If you just even look at this perverse, I get a real perverse feeling with his daughter. Whenever the daughter comes on, there's this kind of sexualization. Yeah, totally ignored, obviously, but she comes on very, she looks like a stripper. And she comes and she starts to talk intellectually, but all I can see is this body, sexualized human being. Like as a male, as a male who looks at women and sees the beauty, I see a sexualized individual, and he is promoting her. He's doing this with her. I don't know what the hell that relationship might be, but I get the EBGBs on this one. And she does her broadcast with scantily dressed outfits once she was in her bathroom. So anyway, that whole side contributes to my suspicions, confirms my suspicions. And I'm just saying in this video, I'm saying we are being prepared for a much bigger psyop than the last one and the last 3 years. And the last 3 years was a setup to remove, I'm not sure how this would work physically, whether any of these people are going to be jailed like the Fauci juice man, the Fauci man. Is this guy going to end up in jail? Unlikely. If there was some untoward, like Epstein, he might not survive a jail cell. I don't know how this works. But clearly, I don't think it's going to be a physical ending of their existence in any way. They'll just sort of quietly go away. And then the Peterson types, the ones that are accepted, even maybe the Robert F. Kennedy, I have some doubts about him. He comes out of a very nefarious family. So how all of a sudden do you have a saint among a bunch of sinners? So I have some reservations. He says a lot of good things. This is something that in this ubiquitous Google search reality, that everybody knows everything. Even like kids I talk to, they come to me and they present themselves as though they know everything about everything. It's weird. It's like I shouldn't even have an opinion. I'm an old fart. I don't know anything, right? So there is this feeling of, yes, once it's entrenched in my brain, if I've read it on Google, it must be true and real. And this is the truther, fundamentally, this kind of group of people that has grown to be very mistrustful is going to be sucked in. That's what I'm saying. The people that have become mistrustful are going to use the very facts presented by these deviants like Peterson in order to be more easily manipulated again. This to me seems a no-brainer, especially with what's going on, how this guy is admired. And he's not the only one. I'm sure there's going to be others that have the trust of people like me. I never trusted Peterson, but like I say about, let's say, somebody like Kennedy or other personalities we come across on the internet, mostly on the internet these days. And the next shit show is being it's going to come. It's in the works, and these people have the owners who are behind these orchestrated events and psyops. People get hurt. It's not a false flag where nothing happens. Things are really bad. Things are really bad when they get a hold of us in the way they did the last 3 years. Things get really bad. And to a lot of people, I talk to, friends of mine, have come through it. They obviously know it was a bunch of hooey. I presented a friend with the Corcoran Library report on masks, which he says in the abstract, it says it's not definitive. Well, not definitive doesn't, this is a scientific research. They found no evidence that a mask would help in preventing some lethal little insects to get into you. Creatures that were born in beer to get into you. So this is a legitimate, credible research paper. It was 48, 50 pages long, presented by Dr. Campbell too, and he said this outfit determined that there is no credible evidence around any of the mask shit that everybody is still doing. And my friend looked at it and said, well, it's inconclusive. And I say, okay, so you're going to shut the whole earth down on inconclusive. Oh, I see, okay. So anything inconclusive. Now the bar has been set. You can shut everything down on inconclusive. There is no evidence, nothing that suggests this is actually true, but you can just shut it down, right? This is another level that where the bar has been lowered to compliance on inconclusive. And this is a smart person, a person that has background and understanding of science to some extent, and math and thinking and logic and intellect. And it's like inconclusive allows everything to happen. So this paper, all he focused on was inconclusive. So bless you, go ahead and do it. It's like inconclusive means go ahead and do it. They Campbell produced this and showed in the bulk of this work, it said there is no evidence that this, in fact, the contrary is true, but hey, we're going to say it's inconclusive because maybe there's there's an infinitesimal doubt, and that makes you say inconclusive and shut everything down. Okay, so I'll leave it there. That's my video today. The phase 2 of this shit show will now shift to people that generally are perceived of as being on our side. Not like the Ubel Knievel alien Klaus Schwab, but people that, I mean, he's so despicable in his appearance. It's like he's vomitable. This guy is like, you put a suit of vomit on him. You know, it's like somebody, everybody should vomit on this guy and put him in the town square like a village idiot. Because that's how he appears. He's a village idiot. Now, how can anybody actually take weffers like that seriously and keep talking about them? Forget about it. These people are completely incoherent in their thinking and their thought process as a real human being. And they act like they in their, you know, I think I saw a picture. I don't know if it's real. They act like the way they speak. They're degenerates. They wear like Peterson suits. They wear like good fitting suits, and they pretend that they're, you know, legitimate and all this. Anyway, get ready, people. The way it will manifest itself, it'll be delivered by the saints, not the sinners, and the demons are not going to present this. I mean, they're all demons. The Petersons types are all demons, but they'll appear as saints, and they're going to present us with the solution to the bastards that have put us in the position that we're in very clearly. The Faucis, the Schwabs, the Soros, the financial, the usual suspects, the whole bunch. And they're going to be the saviors for us. So beware of those Christ-like figures that will take our ass out of the sling we've been in. I don't have. I think I'm ready. I recognize it in Peterson. Let's see if I can recognize it in even the more subtle ones. I will. If I do, I'll report back. I'll say something. All the best.